Have you ever considered visiting Bucharest? The Romanian capital has a lively old centre with plenty to see and do for the entire family, and the Art Nouveau palaces give the city an unexpected charm. This contrasts sharply with the communist architecture that came after it. For aviation enthusiasts, the Bucharest International Air Show is held annually at the Băneasa Airport, just north of the city centre. This show generally boasts an exciting lineup of local and international acts, both in the static and flying displays. The showground contains everything you'd expect from a show of this magnitude, including extensive hangar displays and plenty of very affordable catering options. There are also trade stands adjacent to the highly varied static park. The static offers a unique opportunity to admire much of the Romanian Armed Forces inventory up close. One surprising aircraft in the static was this former Norwegian F-16, painted in a commemorative D-Day scheme. Given the Romanian allegiance at the time, this is perhaps not entirely suitable. Attracting much attention from locals were the aircraft of SMERD, the Government Emergency Relief Department. As is traditional, the show kicked off its nearly 12-hour flying display at 9 a.m. with participants of the Romanian Aero Club. This included this three-ship formation of Italian-built ICP Savannah S ultralights. These put on an entertaining display with a few quirky maneuvers. Next up, the first performance of the day by the Polish Flying Dragons team, trailing the Romanian flag. Here they are flying with 7 pilots, but the team can display with up to 10 paramotors. A paraglider's wing is a soft structure similar to a parachute, and the pilot carries the motor like a backpack on his back. Their display is highly choreographed, with elegant formations, brakes, and rejoins. With 10 o'clock fast approaching, the Romanian Air Force joined the action with 9 F-16s. These were immediately followed by this group of IAR-330 helicopters, which we'll see in action throughout the day, in different variants. Following their formation pass, the helicopters returned to hover in front of the crowd and greet the public, who were starting to appear in ever greater numbers.
Iată, îi salută publicul. Vreau să-i aplaudăm cu mâinile sus. Aplauze pentru...
Așa trebuie să fim cu toții. Vă salută elicopterele Forțelor Aeriene Române.
The Romanian Aero Club took centre stage again with this parachute display. As you'll notice, the large sound towers blasted music across the showground to accompany the various displays.
3,000 hours without afterfire.
This very enthusiastic commentator comes from Hungary and is part of the Heliforce team.
These smoker systems are very fast.
This display is a very apt demonstration of the agility of the Mi-2 multi-purpose helicopter. The Mi-2 is a twin-turbine helicopter designed and produced in the Soviet Union, known for its versatility and reliability. Developed in the late 1950s and introduced in the 1960s, the Mi-2 was primarily used for transport, medical evacuation, reconnaissance, and training purposes. It is capable of carrying up to 1,000 kilograms of payload. With a maximum speed of about 220 kilometers per hour and a range of approximately 600 kilometers, the Mi-2 can operate effectively in various conditions. Its robust construction and ease of maintenance have made it a popular choice among various military and civilian operators worldwide.
Este aici. Este perfect.
Despite being phased out in many countries, it remains an iconic model in aviation history, with some still in use today for various applications. Heliforce offers all manner of helicopter services. They fly transport missions and crop spraying, but also do thrill rides with their Mi-2 and even give the opportunity to do a bungee jump from the helicopter. The team refers to their Mi-2 as the Chuck Norris of helicopters. They also appear to have the Willie Nelson of smoke systems. They conclude their breathtaking display by painting the Romanian flag in the sky.
3, 2, 1!
This is an Extra 330 SC high-performance aerobatics aircraft piloted by the first woman to represent Romania at the European Aerobatics Championship, Andreea Banisaru. She usually flies an Extra 300L, but for competitions at the highest level, the Extra 330 SC model is better suited.
Prima competiție la care va participa Andreea, trebuie să spunem că începe săptămâna viitoare, de vineri, la Aeroclubul României, la Cliceni. Cine vrea să parvină
She ends her performance with this fly past, accompanied by fireworks.
Bias 2024 și cred că mai face o trecere.
O trecere la verticală, de drumul acum, motorul durată în maxim, trage către verticală, suprafațele 45 de grade.
That didn't quite conclude her contribution to the show, though. Here we see her with the Hawks of Romania. These ambassadors of the Romanian Aero Club are joined by the Pelicans, which we saw in action earlier in the video.
Se poate observa viteza mică de deplasare a celor trei aeronave, vântul de față facilitând acest lucru. Iar din spatele lor, pilotarul, Laszlo Ferenc, Ioan Aviatorul, Teo Munteanu, Odila Dogăr și Andrei Șerbu. Încă o trecere spectaculoasă, pregătiți-vă camerele de filmat, telefoanele mobile. Haideți să ne aplaudăm, doamnelor și domnilor, pentru Pelicans și Hawks of Romania! Urmărire între cele două formații, defilare minunată a Hawks of Romania pe fundul tricolor al pelicanilor. Extraordinar, haideți să aplaudăm Haruc, Andrei și Teo! Rămâne formația Diamant, alcătuită din George, Loții, Ioan și Attila Gogăr. Formația se angajează într-o serie de looping-uri, așa cum ne-au obișnuit, dar parcă sunt mult mai strânsă decât până.
The Hawks of Romania made several appearances throughout the program. They fly a combination of Extra 330SC and Extra 300L aircraft. And here, another Extra 330SC of the Romanian Aero Club, even if it doesn't sport the Romanian markings. Its solo maneuvers alternated with formation passes by the Hawks of Romania.
Ruperea formației Hawks of Romania! Bravo, George, Ati și Andrei! Superb! Spirală perfectă și o plită extraordinar realizată, păstrată perfect!
Next up with the Polish Squadron Foundation.
Forward!
They presented this historic jet pair, two LIM-2s, license-built versions of the MiG-15 fighter of Soviet origin that gained fame in the Korean War. They fly a single-seat MiG-15 Biz and a twin-seat MiG-15 UTI. Their display consists mostly of formation passes arcing around from the rear of the crowd. They conclude their routine with a few solo passes. The Foundation are also nearing the completion of their latest project, the restoration to flight of an LIM-5, which is a Polish-built MiG-17. The Romanian flag carrier, Tarom, also joined the party with one of their Boeing 737s. Tarom's fleet is not very large. They operate 4 Airbus A318s, 4 Boeing 737-700 aircraft, and 4 Boeing 737-800 airliners, in addition to 6 ATR-72s. This is one of the Boeing 737-700 variants. They also have 2 Boeing 737 MAX on order, which will be delivered in 2026. This 737 can carry 14 business class passengers and 102 passengers in economy.
Așa. După ce vezi ce poate.
Overhead, a Romanian C-130 Hercules appeared, dropping Romanian military paratroopers.
Urmate de următoarele.
Superbă și demonstrația.
Avem steagurile României.
These proudly showed the Romanian flag, the flag of the European Union and that of NATO.
Și ale Uniunii Europene.
Unul al Uniunii Europene și unul al NATO. Înțeles, scuze.
Exact.
Toată traiectoria, astfel încât să te încadrezi perfect.
Following these paratroopers, it was only fitting to follow it up with an aircraft known for taking part in the largest airborne operations during the Second World War. Or not quite, because this is not a Douglas DC-3 or C-47 to use its military designation, but rather a Lesanov LY-2, a Soviet license-built version of the famous American airliner and transporter. Its main missions included carrying soldiers and supplies to the front lines, evacuating wounded soldiers, paratroop drops and cargo transport. It was also adapted for bombing missions in some rare cases. After the war, the LY-2 continued to serve in various roles, including passenger transport and military duties in several countries. This one belongs to the Hungarian foundation Goldtimer and wears the colours of the now defunct Hungarian airline Malev. Here, we see it later on in the day, together with the Hawks of Romania. The Romanian Air Force returned with this three-ship of IAR-99 jet trainers. One of them broke off, while two presented a short tactical display.
Pentru îndeplinirea misiunilor de rută.
Se apropie din dreapta spre stânga. Iată ce frumoase sunt, cum zboară în formație.
Foarte frumoasă formația strânsă, imediată, rupe pe dreapta, demonstrare către public.
The Romanian Air Force also presented a solo demonstration with this indigenous aircraft.
Pe dreapta se depărtează celălalt. În va urma sunt
The IAR-99 is a unique aircraft in the Romanian inventory as it is not used anywhere else in the world. Its main role is to serve as an advanced jet trainer before pilots progress to the F-16. Development started in 1975, though the first flight only occurred in 1985. It entered service with the Romanian Air Force in 1987. During the 1990s, following the fall of the Iron Curtain, an upgrade program took place with the assistance of the Israeli defense company Elbit. This brought the IAR-99's avionics up to modern standards. It is also equipped with a radar warning receiver and electronic countermeasures suite, so it could also be used in combat. It can also carry infrared air-to-air missiles and both guided and unguided ground attack munitions. The upgrades also helped the aircraft to serve as a more suitable lead-in trainer for the upgraded Romanian MiG-21s. These upgraded versions are called SOIM, which is Romanian for Hawk. 18 of them remain in service with the Romanian Flight Academy at Boboc and Bacău, where they perform advanced fighter pilot training duties. The first foreign participant at the show was up next, the Hellenic Air Force with Team Daedalus. They fly a Beech T-6 Texan II. The team takes its name from a famous artist and sculptor in ancient Greek mythology. The name of the team is quite apt, as the transfer of knowledge and skills is necessary during pilot training. The T-6 Texan II is based on the Swiss PC-9 turboprop trainer. In fact, the manufacturer Beech has to pay a licensing fee to the original Swiss manufacturer Pilatus for each T-6 they build. This highly capable training aircraft is in service around the world and also has a light strike variant. Team Daedalus are based at Kalamata on the Peloponnesus Peninsula. The team is part of 361 Air Training Squadron there. The team traces its origin to 2005 and was initially trained for display flying by the United States Air Force T-6 demo team, which explains why some of the maneuvers retain their distinctly American designations. Pilots graduating from the T-6 in their training continue on to the brand new Italian-built M346 jet trainer, perhaps the most advanced and capable jet trainer in the world. The German Air Force was a regular static participant at Bucharest in the past, but in 2024 they made a welcome appearance in the flying display with the Eurofighter Typhoon. This is an aircraft from Jagerschwader 74, based at Neuburg. The Bavarian Tigers, as they are known, have been members of the NATO Tiger Association since 2012. They took over the Tiger membership of 32 fighter bomber wing, which flew Tornadoes until they were disbanded. Germany is acquiring extra Typhoons in view of the current world situation, adding to the 138 already with the German fleet. Those are spread across 4 bases. They are also going to upgrade 15 aircraft of the existing fleet to replace the Tornado ECR, to engage in electronic warfare and suppression of enemy air defenses. Germany was, of course, one of the 4 partner nations of the Eurofighter program. This 3-ship of Yak-52 training aircraft needs no introduction. These are the Iacari Acrobati, perhaps the most famous Romanian civilian display team. The Yak-52s they fly were built in Romania as are many aircraft of this type.
Tudor Greceanu și ofițer de echipaj.
The Romanian company Aerostar built them under license from 1977 until 1998. Their display consists mainly of very tight formations. The Vic formation is the basis of their routine, during which they perform their aerobatics close to the crowd.
Avioanele se lansează acum în jumătate de oră cu manez, afprivat.
The Yak-52 is perhaps best known in a variant that has a nose wheel, but the Yak-52s of the Romanian aerobatic Yakas are the less common TW variant. TW being short for tail wheel.
Apostolache, Dan Ștefănescu și Dan Cotterman. Iacări acrobați. Acrobați lansați în viteză. Urmează un nou jumătate de ocupanez. Parte marșă!
The colour scheme of numbers 1 and 2 was inspired by the colours of Romanian Air Force aircraft during the Second World War. Number 3 takes its inspiration from United States Army Air Force aircraft in the same era.
Dacă te rugăm încă unul pentru noi. Super! Bravo, băieți!
The Ayakari acrobati are known all over the world and have already travelled all the way to the Far East to put on their impressive performance.
Și urmează ruperea. Aeronavele iau poziție de rupere. Haideți să vedem 3, 2, 1 și ruperea! Bravo, băieți! Evoluția în carusel.
The team included a new pilot in the 2024 season, following the fatal crash of former team member Dan Ștefănescu.
Aplauze pentru Iacări acrobați.
Then the Romanian Air Force took center stage once more, with this 3-ship of IAR-330 helicopters.
Și la sol, prin fața dumneavoastră, trec Iacări acrobați, aplauze pentru Iacări! România este un lucru foarte bun, deoarece nu depindem de altcineva la nevoie.
The IAR-330 is a license-built version of the Aerospatiale SA-330 Puma, with some modifications.
Iare 330M, Forțele Aeriene Române, pentru Nevo, ne salută pentru intrare.
These helicopters were built at the factory located in the Romanian city Brasov.
Deplasări laterale stânga-dreapta.
They were assisted by the Israeli company Elbit.
Iar la sol, în rulaj, aeronava PC-2.
104 IAR-330s were built for the Romanian military in different variants.
Helicopterul care îl vedeți la verticală, după cum vă povesteam, făcând
150 more were built for export to Pakistan, the United Arab Emirates, Ivory Coast, Sudan, and Ecuador.
este proiectată și modernizată pentru a executa misiuni de transport atât pentru forțele aeriene cât și pentru celelalte forțe
This helicopter is mainly used for transport, but there is also a combat version which we'll see in action during a solo display later on. IAR 330s are based at every Romanian Air Force base except for the Air Force Academy at Boboc. Around 40 of the 104 IAR 330s that were ordered are still in service.
Sunt și pe stânga și pe dreapta și pot fi folosite de către pilotul comandant și de către pilotul secund. Tragecă verticală 30 de grade cu înclinare dreapta. Foarte frumos execută manevra.
Since the MiG-21s were withdrawn from service, the F-16s are the only fighters in the Romanian Air Force inventory. They mark a significant leap forward in technology from the MiG-21s. The Romanian F-16s were acquired from Portugal and Norway. They are F-16A variants that have undergone the midlife upgrade, or MLU, to bring them up to modern standards. They are based at Vitesti and Câmpia Turzii. The aim is to eventually have around 50 F-16s in service in Romania, though the country has also expressed interest in the American F-35. A regular participant at the Bucharest International Air Show is the Slovenian Air Force PC-9.
Așa, după cum vă spuneam, aeronava pilotul specie nouă, produsă de aeronave pilotul Elveția, a reprezentat fundamentul.
The Slovenian Air Force uses the PC-9 for light strike missions. Their fleet is based at Circle ob Kirk. In Europe, the PC-9M variant is also in service in Croatia and Ireland, but it also formed the basis for the Beech T-6 Texan II we saw earlier, which is in service in a few more European countries. 9 PC-9Ms serve in Slovenia. This display is a popular sight at air shows around Europe and has won high praise for its precision and highly dynamic nature. For training, the Slovenian Air Force has several types in service, including the Velis Electra. They are the first European Air Force to adopt an electric aircraft for this purpose. Development of the Swiss PC-9 appears to have stalled, whereas the even more popular PC-7 continues to see upgrades and has even been developed to the brand new PC-7 MKX.
2 kg. Ei, în momentul în care supra sarcina este nu.
The PC-9M, on the other hand, appears to have reached the end of its development cycle.
Sarcini negative. Fiecare ați experimentat situația în care aduce mai...
Here we see a Technam P2006 of the Romanian Aviation Academy.
de început de ATCM.
This is a popular multi-engine training aircraft to train future airline pilots, thanks to its sophisticated glass cockpit.
Aeronavele finale.
For more basic training, the Romanian Aviation Academy relies on other types, such as these Cessna 172 Skyhawks.
Pe locul 3 mondial la Unlimited. Așadar, în fața dumneavoastră puteți aplauda o aeronavă.
We remain in the training theme, but we turn our attention to the Romanian Air Force Academy. Here we see 4 of their Yak-52s in action, coming from their home base at Boboc.
Exact cum se spunea mai devreme, o aeronavă foarte bună pentru pregătirea.
About 12 of these aircraft remain in service there. They are the more traditional Yak-52s with nose wheel.
Și ruperea pe celule!
Haideți să aplaudăm pentru această manevră acrobatică extraordinară! La ridicarea aerodromului, cele 2 cercule intersectează, haideți să aplaudăm!
Following this crossing, the aircraft will perform another break before making individual passes in front of the crowd.
Frate marșă! Răsucit!
Later in the day, the Romanian Air Force, Yak-52s, joined up with the Ayakari Acrobati to commemorate the passing of the founder of the latter team, Dan Stefanescu. He died earlier in 2024 in a crash with an Su-31 aerobatic plane. We already saw the license-built Romanian Pumas. Now here are 2 IAR-316s, which are actually Aerospatiale SA-316 Alouette 3, also license-built in Romania. The original order for this helicopter was 125 for the Romanian Air Force. 6 remain in service for pilot training at the Military Pilot Training Academy at Boboc. These 2 IAR-316 are part of that unit. More than 350 IAR-316s were built for export to Pakistan, Angola, and Guinea. These helicopters could be armed with machine guns and rocket pods. There was even a genuine combat helicopter variant under development in Romania, the IAR 317 Airfox. That machine looked very different, with a tandem cockpit layout and wings to mount guided anti-tank missiles. One of the prototypes is still on display at the Bucharest Aviation Museum, certainly well worth a visit when it reopens. The display of the pair is always a highlight at the Bucharest International Air Show. The Romanian Air Force operates no fewer than 8 C-130 Hercules, 4 of which are H variants and the other 4 are B versions. These complement the sole AN-26 and 7 C-27 Spartans of the Romanian Air Force. They form 901 Squadron, based at Bucharest Otopeni Airport. Here we see one of their C-130H Hercules. During this pass, notice the loadmaster waving at the crowd in the rear door.
Hercule, doamnelor și domnilor, uitați câtă maestrie, câtă frumusețe de această pasăre gri!
This C-130 used to belong to the United States Air Force, as is clearly visible from the crude removal of the original markings on the tail. We already saw the IAR 330 transport version in action earlier. Now it is the turn of the combat version. To show off its agility at the show, the IAR 330 SOCAT.
Tunul de bord se va duce exact în direcția respectivă. Este o armă redutabilă și care poate face multe probleme.
The IAR 330L SOCAT has a completely overhauled sensor suite, a cannon under the nose and wings to carry a variety of weapons to make any enemy's day unpleasant.
Iare 330 SOCAT! Fără probleme. Ia uitați aici. Aproape 50 de grade pe verticală, întoarcere foarte scurt, timp greu. Greutatea maximă este de 7400 de kilograme. În mod normal lucrează undeva la 6000 de kilograme, 6000 de kilograme.
SOCATs are based at 2 bases, Bacău and Câmpia Turzii.
Israeliană Elbit este multifuncțional.
A total of 25 SOCATs were built, 12 of which were modernized with NATO-compatible avionics from 2005 until 2008.
Foarte strâns lucrat, exact ceea ce vă povesteam mai devreme cu 4 palele. De fapt, e vorba de desprinderea să ridice și să-l aducă înapoi acasă. Vă salută elicopterul 28 Socat, iar 330, baza 95 aeriană, Bacău, forțele aeriene române.
Aplauze sus să ne vadă că aplaudăm, să-i salutăm!
Haideți să-i aplaudăm și să-i salutăm!
Excelentă evoluție!
Frumoasă evoluție!
Excelentă! Uite, facem plecăciune! Se închină fața noastră, mulțumim senzațional! Uite și...
Mulțumește și central și lateral, mulțumește la toată lumea echipajul!
Minunat!
Haideți să ne mulțumim și noi!
The Romanian police also took part in the flying display with this modern Airbus helicopters H135T2. These helicopters are equipped with all kinds of sensors and other tools, like a winch, to aid in their support tasks for law enforcement. Here, we see the start of the display of Jurgis Kairis with his Sukhoi Su-31. Jurgis is a Lithuanian, but he was born in Siberia in 1952. He is a qualified engineer who helped in the development of several aerobatics aircraft. This includes the Su-26 and this Su-31, both high-performance aerobatics planes that dominated competitions in the 1990s. He also developed aerobatics maneuvers, and the Kairis wheel even carries his name. The Su-31 is a lighter version of the Su-29. It combines this with some extra thrust than its predecessor, which helps with its performance. The development of this aircraft started in 1991. It has a roll rate of over 400 degrees per second and can easily support stresses of 12 times the force of gravity. Since COVID, Jurgis added another element to his performance: pyrotechnics that are fired while he puts the aircraft through its paces, though it is quite limited compared to specialized pyro acts. Staying with high-performance aerobatics, here are the Czech Flying Bulls with their 4 SBAC XJ-42 aircraft to thrill the crowds with their jaw-dropping spectacle that combines tight formation aerobatics with highly unusual negative G maneuvers, making them one of the finest civilian aerobatic teams in the world. Then it was the turn of the Romanian Air Force again, celebrating 20 years as part of NATO, joining the alliance on the 29th March 2004. With the modernization program of several elements of the Romanian Air Force, they are becoming more and more integrated with NATO systems, enabling them to take part in multinational missions more effectively. This display by an IAR 330 was also the start of the sunset part of the Bucharest International Air Show 2024, complete with plenty of flares to spice things up, even if it was still a little bright. No Bucharest Air Show would be complete without the Romanian Aero Club's White Wings glider display team flying two ICES 28B2. This is a Romanian-designed and built glider dating back to the 1970s. It is built entirely out of metal and has a wingspan of 17 meters.
Doamnelor și domnilor, haideți să ne aplauze pentru White Wings, care tocmai ne-au prezentat ce înseamnă poezia zborului și atunci la turismul, șeful formației Vasile Hapciuc.
Rumors abounded during the show that there was a problem with the French Air and Space Force's Rafale solo display, as it did not fly during the rehearsal day on Friday and didn't perform during its morning slot. As is so often the case, the rumors were unfounded. The Rafale flew its rehearsal on Thursday, leaving Friday open for a meeting at the French embassy. French Air Force regulations also prevent the display from being performed twice in one day, so it was only right to fly the more prestigious later slot with a number of political and corporate visitors coming to see the aircraft up close throughout the day. The Rafale is a formidable omni-role fighter jet, renowned for its versatility and cutting-edge capabilities, not to mention jaw-dropping agility. Adding to the visual flair are the Rafale's gorgeous lines that result in a degree of low observability, enhancing its already impressive combat capabilities. Flying the aircraft here is Mimus from the airbase at Saint-Dizier, where he teaches future Rafale pilots to fly and fight in the aircraft as part of the Operational Conversion Unit. 2024 was his first season displaying the Rafale. His aircraft wears a gorgeous color scheme inspired by the French national colors to help celebrate the 90th anniversary of the French Air Force. Some aerial magic then with a healthy amount of fireworks, thanks to the sparklers on the wings of this Fox glider, also part of the Romanian Aero Club. The MDM-1 Fox is a Polish composite mid-wing, two-seater aerobatic glider with fixed undercarriage. More than 53 of these high-performance aerobatic gliders have been built since the mid-1990s. With the sun behind the horizon, it was time for the genuine pyrotechnic acts. You can clearly see all the fireworks mounted on the side and rear of the fuselage of the Heliforce Mi-2, but unfortunately, Technical gremlins meant none of them fired, leading to a bit of disappointment. That meant only ground-based fireworks lit up the evening sky. The Ayakari Acrobati also have a pyro act, which they perform in combo with Jurgis Kairos. This act is known as Air Bandits and is based around large explosive charges on the ground, simulating air attacks as the team performs their aerial maneuvers above the airfield. This is all set to the pumping tune of the song Du Hast of German dance metal band Rammstein. Jurgis added to the spectacle with some fireworks of his own. With a cloudy sky, the light faded even faster than usual, and the aircraft became very difficult to see for the audience. The clouds did help reflect the ground explosions as the team performed its final two breaks. And here, the Su-31 fires off some more fireworks. The final full display were the Polish Flying Dragons, over from their home city Krakow, lighting up the evening sky with a combination of LED lights on their paragliders and fireworks. Their fireworks spectacle proved a great hit with the massive crowd that had assembled at the Baniasa airfield, their paramotors gliding gracefully in formation through the dark sky.
Superb acest spectacol, Flying Dragons!
Ground-based fireworks offered additional excitement and color as the team fired off additional salvos of fireworks from the paramotors strapped to their backs. Over 100,000 people visited the free air show at Baniasa throughout the day, and they were treated to an exceptional visual feast in the air. The festival-like atmosphere as the sun sets with loud music and a crowd on their feet taking in the excitement, plus the lure of a rock concert after the display finishes, always ensures the showground fills completely towards the end of the show. In 2024, the sunset part of the display was even more elaborate than ever before. And so, we come to the end of our look back at the 2024 Bucharest International Air Show with a closing pass by two Romanian Air Force F-16s, flanking a C-27 Spartan, dumping all of its flares, providing a stunning finale to a magnificent day at Băneasa Airport.